know this, this is a recap of what we're doing. I am building a 1960s Sears catalog house from the 1960s. I don't know if you guys did not know this, but back in the 1960s, Sears actually sold houses, and you could buy a house out of a catalog, no word of a lie, for extremely relevantly cheap in right now, but back then it would be like basically expensive, and it would be very hard to come by for the funds that we're going through. This house here costed back in the 1960s with heating included. Let me look. It costed $1,749. So if a house actually costed that much and you can get it out of a catalog now, people would be buying houses whatsoever. And it's just a two-bed house. And there's no, like, I don't know how the basement was or whatever. So I'm just going to show you guys how I'm setting up my basement. If you guys don't know this, but I'm a Canadian girl. I was raised with basements, but in The Sims 4, I just don't like anything stairs. I don't like basements. I just don't like it. But since there is a new stuff pack that is available now that has washers and dryers in it, I thought, you know what, I'm going to make a basement. So this is actually, I do believe, the same way they did a basement. Yeah, so they did a closet, and then they did the stairs, but the stairs were actually this way instead. Yeah, they were actually like L shape, but you can't really do L shape. So what I did was I made the kitchen a little bit bigger than it would be, and then I just made the stairs. So what I did, guys, is the 1960s is I like my bathrooms really, really small and cramped and tiny, so that's fine. But since I really like my bathrooms that small and tiny, I actually cut my bathrooms down to where a closet would fit. And then I actually made an ensuite bathroom for the mums and dads. Because I know now in the basically 200s, basically the 2018, let's say a family moved in 2019 and moved into this 1960s house and they redid it all. I'm sure they would be really, really, really happy with the ensuite bathroom, and I think that'd be an awesome little story. And then what they did was they tore out the smaller bedroom, made the closets bigger, and put an ensuite on. So I think that's pretty cool. For down here, I've never done this before, so what we've done is I basically put in some basements. I'm basically putting in some windows, and weirdly enough, this is actually what a house would look like in Canada. You would have these small, tiny, rectangular windows that lets in some light, not much, but it will let in some. And if you guys don't know this, but there is a bathroom down here. There is another bedroom, a bathroom. Actually, there's 3 bedrooms down here. I do believe one's going to be an art studio. And this is going to be the washer and dryer. This is going to be the laundromat area. Or I'm going to make this into a family room. I don't know what I'm going to do in here either. So, alright. One of these rooms will have to be a furnace room. But we'll figure it out when the time comes. Okay, so we'll work on the upstairs. I love how small and spacious this house actually is, and it's just fantastic of how the house is coming out. I don't know if I'm going to be decorating it the way it would have been in the 1960s, and if I did, I don't know if we have enough old style stuff to use stuff like that. I kind of wanted to do in the 1960s and a 2019 vibe, so maybe we'll do that as well. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make this look a little bit more realistic. So I'll show you guys how we're going to do this. A foundation is something that's really, really fun to do in this game. So I'm just going to bring it up. and I'm going to foundation it like this. It's not the fancy foundation, but you don't need anything fancy. This is the 1960s, guys. Back then, they didn't have any fancy. They didn't have like proper cement or drywall or whatever. Guys, by the way, I did live in an old wartime home, and wartime is like before the 1960s, and my basement for my house that I lived in, it was so small and so tiny and so run down that it was home, right? So it was where I lived, and it's where I loved, because it was someplace that, yeah, it's something that wasn't the greatest, and other thing about that. I'll be right back, everyone. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I had somebody call me, and they were like, "Hey, it's Breast Cancer Research Day, da 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 da," and I'm like, "Ah, that's pretty cool." So, okay, so back to little stories I had. It is my house that I used to live in was it was amazing. At the time that I had a house, it was something that I just moved out of my father-in-law's house. The guy that I was with at the time, we basically had a home together since I was in high school, and then we basically, Dad said, "It's okay, well, it's time for you kids to move out now." It was a very scary time for both of us because we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into. But him and I, we went through a lot already, so we just thought, okay, we'll be fine. So when we moved into this house, this house had a lot that needed to be done. It was more than a lot. It had to get like re-demolished and reset up or whatever. And the bad thing is Dad didn't have the money for that at all. So it was really bad. Was the bathroom was disgusting. I couldn't have anybody over. The tub leaked. Everything leaked. There was mold everywhere, and I had to live in this. I had to live like this. Then I got pregnant with my second daughter, and it was really bad. Was because she was born with so much health problems because of the living conditions that I had to go under, and it just sucked because my little girl had to go through all of that problems, and before she was even 6 or 19, no, about 6 months old, she had so much problems with her breathing, and it was really horrible. So by then, we decided to move. Actually, it was just a couple days after she was born. My dad decided to move us out of there into somewhere else, and which was pretty awesome, guys. A new house means a new beginning, And it was really, really awesome. It was something that I was really enjoying, and I came home from my C-section a week later, and everything was all set up. And what really, really pissed me off is nobody took the initiative of setting up Ashley's stroller. Like, I was 4 weeks PP, which is postpartum, of me setting up a baby stroller and getting everything ready for her to come home, and it hurt like fudge. But no, that's my story, guys. Is if you guys do want to live in a small house and you guys have horror stories, comment down below and let me know what your horror stories were. My horror stories it's just living in that kind of area wasn't the greatest. Also, I can't believe I'm also saying this to you guys, as my house was very badly haunted. And it was horrible haunted. It was like everywhere you go in that house, you feel like you're being watched, even if you go in the basement. Even with my last house I lived in Delisle, it was the same way. Like, every time you go down the basement, you're feeling like something's bad is watching you. I've fallen down the stairs. I've been pushed. I've actually felt little hands on my feet. I've heard kids giggling in that house. So it was a really, really, really bad. And my ex-father-in-law thought I was just going nuts. And he always shrugged it off like, you're just going crazy kind of thing. And it was like, no, I wasn't going crazy. It's because I heard it. I heard the laughter and the kids just giggling. Like, and I heard like a little girl voicing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hee 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 hee. And I heard that. And a boyfriend that I was with at the time, and I'm friends with now still, in a way, he actually heard that as well. He heard, what was that? And I was like, I don't know what that was at. So one time I did an EVP session, which was pretty freaking cool, I have to say. So I did an EVP session, and I said, hi, I'm here. And the ghost, a very magnificent voice came, hi, I'm here. And it just shit my pants. I ran out that door. I ran, and everybody was looking at me like, what the fuck's wrong with this lady? This is like really funny. This is probably like at 6 or 7 in the morning when I did this. This was right after Emmanuel left for work. So, that's when I really knew that this house was not safe and that I had to leave. And it was really hard for me to get up and leave, because that was a home that I've been through since I was in high school. I lived in that home as well, when I was in high school, and I didn't want to leave. That was home. That was where I wanted to raise my kids. But I also decided that if something was bad there, I didn't want anything to happen to me, or to happen if I did get pregnant again. I didn't want anything to happen to that baby. So I just decided that, I have to leave, and it's for my own health, that if I left, I left, and I will never turn back. So that was fine. I left, and I think the last time I went back to that house was when I came home from the United States. And when I came home for the US, it was pretty sad. It was a very depressing time for me. Because I didn't really want to be back. I didn't want to come back. I wanted to stay, but I was forced basically to come back. And in a way, I'm kind of sad and depressed still about it. And my heart's in America, and it's always has been, and it will always will be. And but no, I'm really happy I did come back in a way, because I'm more closer to my mom. And my grandma, she's very, very, very elderly now, and she's very, very old. And my grandmother, she's getting up there, guys. And I feel like if I didn't come back and something happened to her, I would have been so badly depressed, and I would have just wanted to die, and I would not have wanted to live anymore, because I couldn't be there for her funeral. I couldn't afford to come back. That's something I would have been very, very hard on. So in a way, it was good that I did come home for the amount that I did. And because of it, I had my little boy, and my life has been okay since, in a way. But no, it's life's really, really hard. Any place. It doesn't matter if you lived in California for X number of months or years or whatever. That's something that you always will miss. And I have these mugs, and they were given to me from someone that I'm actually know quite well now, but they were given to me, and every time I have a cup of coffee, I always have a cup of coffee, and I always think about Callie, and I always think about, how much I miss Callie, and how much I miss the summer, how much I miss everything about Callie. And it's really weird is when I first came home, the first month I came home, I came off the plane and it was minus 30 out. No, yeah, minus 35 when my plane arrived home. And I don't think I've ever talked anything about this when I first came home. When I first came home, I punched my ex in the face. I told him, if you touch me, you die. So I punched him in the face, and he totally deserved it. So I punched him in the face, and and I looked at him and I says, I'm done. I literally looked at his face and I says, you and I are not going to work out. So that was fine, and he was so heart-wrenched, like he was heartbroken. And so I gave quite a bit of space from him for a long, 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 long time. And then just recently I've gotten friends with him. Like, he is my friend. He's my best friend. He's someone that I can pick up the phone and say, hey, Tim did this today and I'm really upset. Like, could you come over and we could talk about it? Or could we just talk on the phone? Are you busy? Something stupid like that. Or, hey, my grandmother's being a total cunt right now and she doesn't want nothing to do with me and she doesn't want nothing to do with any of my kids. Something like that. And that's really, really nice, is how I can literally sit down with him and talk about how I'm feeling. And he'll sit there for hours and he'll just listen to how I'm feeling. And then he'll be like, are you okay now? And I'm like, no, I'm really upset still. And he'll like, oh, I'm totally understand what you're going through. Anna died today. And I'm like, oh my God, Anna Bear died? And he's like, yeah, Anna Bear died. And then I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And then he's like, it's okay, it's not a big deal. And I'm like, yeah, it is a big deal because Anna Bear died. And then we would both cry, and we'd cry and cry and cry because Anna died, or something silly like that. So it's like, the friendship that I have with my best friend is something that I've had for a very, very long time. And it's very nice that I actually have that, because not a lot of exes have it. Okay, they actually did not whatsoever have the relationship or bond that they have with their ex. And it's really, 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 really freaking sad, is how I'm saying is that sometimes it just happens like that. People just don't get that anymore. People lose everything that they worked so hard for, and then it's like gone. Like, you'd be literally dead and heartbroken if something happened to your friend. And so, yeah, I'm not married to him anymore, and I'm really happy I'm not. It was an abusive relationship. I was extremely unhappy with him. And it's really good that, now I can look on it as, hey, now I'm actually started kind of over, and I'm kind of happier about it now. And it took me years. I think it took me, about 2 years before I contacted Emmanuel. Hey, Tim? So it took me about 2 years until I actually got a hold of him and said, I really need to talk to you, and I'm going through a lot right now, and, can we talk? And he'll be like, yeah, okay, you know. And what's really weird is he's never changed his phone number. When we were together, it's like the phone number stayed the same. So it was really, really nice. It's like I was able to contact him, and I'm like, hey, I need a little bit of help. Can I have a little bit of money? I got no food. And he owes me quite a bit of money, guys. He owes me a lot of spousal support money, and he can't say no. If he says no, he's in big dog doo-doo. So he used to always bring me over some food, and that's how I got through my pregnancies with Daniel and Eileen, because he was there. He was being a good uncle to the kids. He was being there for me when I really needed him. And when Daniel and Eileen were put into foster care, I actually called him that day, and I said, you know, Tim's really upset. And he's like, what happened? And I says, you can't come to RUH. She says, no, I'm at work. And I says, crap. And he says, did the kids get taken? And I says, yeah, Danny got taken. And so, or E-Man would have come, and he would have done a stink as well. But that would have been a bad situation, because Tim already threatened the doctor. Right, Tim? You threatened that doctor, didn't you? But, you know, but still, in a way, guys, is if you've gone through so much and you've give up on a relationship, you can still be friends with them. You can still, like, hey, what's up? How's things doing? How's life? You know, something silly like that. Oh, that's cool. I'm doing pretty cool. I'm doing pretty good, I guess. You see where I'm coming from? But yeah, no, it's, you know, a life lesson is, I'm just going to say, guys, is never give up. If you were raised in a house like this, and it brings you back a lot of heartaches of divorce or separation or family issues, totally understand all that, guys. I really wasn't really raised with a real father. I have a grandfather. He is my dad. He is my adopted dad, so he's my only dad. But he's the father that I look up to now as my father. So my dad, my birth father, has never been around. I have a hard time finding him, and I think for the rest of my life I'm going to have issues finding who he really was. And the bad thing is I kind of have every right to know who he is, or where he lives, or what he does for a living. I have every right to actually find this out, and my grandmother just doesn't want me to look. Like, that's the sad part, is my mom doesn't even want me to look for my birth father. But I used to be raised before the cabin, before Pike Lake. I was raised in a house like this. So something like this brings me back a lot of memories as a kid. And I'm sure if I actually sent a message to my little brother, I'd be like, yeah, do you remember this house when we were kids? And da-da-da. And like, remember how it was this awesome, how we used to run and hide and think there was actually a ghost or spirit down in the basement? That's how really awesome it was. And, but no, with my relationship with my siblings, it's rocky. I don't have a very good relationship with my brother. I don't have a good relationship with my sister. I don't have any good relationship with anybody anymore. And it's very, 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 very depressing, because I miss my family. I miss everyone. But I'm an outsider. And that's what hurts me the most, guys. That I'm actually an outsider in my family. And that's actually what sucks. But I lived in a house like this when I was a little girl. It looked exactly like this. And I'm really liking how I did that roof, by the way. So I'm going to show you guys a little tip and trick. So if you want a window here, I'll show you how to do this. This is pretty cool. put that. And then what you want to do, oh, and that's how you build a ceiling. Oh, okay, so that's pretty cool. So if you want to put the ceiling back to where it was, click and then put it back. Oh, I like that idea. Okay. So, yeah, I just want to say, guys, is when you're building stuff in The Sims, bring it into life. Bring it into the feeling of your childhood. If your childhood was as good as mine was, in a way, build it. If you have an idea for something that you've really wanted to do for the longest time and you don't know how you're going to do it, build it. I always try to say is make a new challenge for yourself every day. And if you don't make yourself a new challenge, you're gonna run yourself down. You're gonna be depressed. You're gonna be unhappy. And being depressed and being unhappy for anything is something that nobody needs. Anybody's life. Nobody needs to be depressed or unhappy or not wanting to do anything in their life. And I think that's something how I've actually have gotten a little bit more better now since I've gotten a little older. I've actually have dealt with, like, okay, my father, let's say, is gone. He's gone. And I'm going to miss Daddy for the rest of my life. Daddy was the person that was my life, and he was there for me for everything. Sorry, guys, give me a minute. And building stuff like this brings me into the initiative is like, how would life would be when he was raised. Dad was basically born around the war. I think he was born in the 1920s. I think that's when he was born. But he was born around the wartime. And he actually went into the war. He dealt with all that and he came home. And he still died. I think God took him too soon. But it still has hurt me as much as it does now. And that's why I play a lot of video games. That's why I'm constantly playing, why I'm constantly with my friends, why I can't be really alone anymore, why I'm always playing something, why I have to be busy. And so here's my challenge. And my challenge, I've done one challenge today, and I can't wait to challenge myself again in January. I can't wait to challenge myself down the road. I can't wait to challenge myself. Something I really want to do, I'm going to do it. Because I'm like my father, guys. If you don't know this, is my dad and we're so very extremely alike. And I don't really ever talk much about Daddy very much without crying. And I've been trying to hold back my tears, because tears with my father, you don't really need to cry. And I usually try not to, because people will think I'm weak or I'm really, really like just getting attention or whatever. But today I challenged myself of just sitting patiently and waiting for something that was coming in the mail that I didn't know if I was getting today or tomorrow. And I was sitting on my chair playing on the PS4, and I was just coming out of the bathroom to go because I have an inflammation bladder. My bladder's really, really badly messed up now since Daniel was born. That was fine. So all of a sudden Tim says, "Hey, is this for you?" And I look at it and it says, I'm going to say this, it says McPherson Arts and Crafts. I look at it and I says, "Yeah, that's mine. Why?" And he gives it to me, and I open it up, and it was my magnets for my business, guys. And if you guys don't know this, I am becoming a reborn artist. So I do have another channel, and I'm going to be posting it in my description below if you guys want to see my reborn journey. And by the way, I didn't go live or whatsoever with this, and I should have. I am kicking myself now. I should have went live when I made these magnets, but I didn't want to go live and show you guys how I was doing. and then I messed up. So that's why I didn't go live today. But I will next time for when I'm doing my reborn magnets, because I know a lot of my friends want to like support me through this reborn journey as well. Back to my little story. So I picked up the phone and I've gotten really close to someone. Her name is Nicole, and her and I we're buds. Like, she's my best friend for life kind of thing. Like, I love her. She's a great friend. And I text her and I says, okay, I'm about to do this. I'm really, really scared. I'm shaking that I'm going to fuck up and I'm going to mess up. Where do I got to do this? And Nicole says, Tara, you've watched videos on this game for 15 to 20 times. I think you got this. And I says, okay. And she says, if you have issues, let me know and I will help you. And I says, okay. She says, I know you can do it. So I says, okay, I'll try it. And so she's basically cheering me on, and she's sending me all these emojis. And 20 seconds later, I had my hot glue gun ready, and the glue wasn't coming out of it. So I went and I grabbed another stick, because I remembered reading the instructions of the hot glue gun itself that you're going to need at least 2 sticks for the first use. And guys, if you haven't known this, one thing is I got a really bad memory for anything, for school-wise, for where I put my keys, where I put my phone, when I forgot to come to store. Like, my memory is shot because of I don't even know why. I think I've gotten a small case of forgetting stuff. I think I'm becoming a really old person. But that was actually 2 weeks ago when I bought this hot glue gun. When I bought this on payday. It's been about 2.5 weeks since I got this from payday. And I remembered that I need 2 sticks. I remembered that you got to put it in the middle. I remember that you have to put the magnet down with a Q-tip or you'll burn your fingers. Then you have to you have to be careful, and you have to press the magnet and try to get into the middle, and you got to make sure there's glue around it, and then wait for a couple minutes and then just put more glue around it, put felt on it, and then press it down and be careful because it's very, very, very hot. But stuff like that is, when I was making it, I looked really excited. I looked really happy. And Tim even said, I can't believe you have the spark in you again. You're happy. And I says, yeah, I think this is the best thing. I think this is the best choice that I've did for my life. And he's like, what do you mean? I says, I've always wanted to work with kids. But because of my accident, I can't even get a job. I can't even go to school. My back hurts all the time. And Tim looks at me and he says, yeah, I know. And that was fine. And give me a minute, guys. I then told him, I says, tomorrow after grocery shopping, if we have anything left, I need to get some more pacifiers and stuff. And he says, okay, whatever you need for your business to grow and prosper. And I says, oh, you're really, really supportive of me, aren't you? And he says, I can be sometimes. And we laughed, we giggled, and we joked. Like how Daddy would joke if he was still here. And he said, your dad would be very proud of you if he was around. And I says, Tim, he's not gone. And then all of a sudden the coffee pot turned on. And I just replaced this coffee pot a couple days ago. And it turned on. And by golly, we saw, Tim and I were just standing there. And a cup just basically, a chair just pulled up. And I think my dad just wanted to sit at the table. And if that was you, Dad, it was too much for me in one day. But no, it's I know he doesn't mean to do that, and like it's whatever, right? So it's, but it still makes me feel really, really nice is I am at least trying stuff out before I start my business. And I know when I do start my business, I'm going to be number one. I'm going to be able to I'll be able to be in the mall and people are going to be walking up to me and saying, "Oh, what nice babies you have, and he's beautiful. Where'd you get him?" And I'm going to be looking at the lady and going to be smiling, and I'm like, "Oh, well, hi there." And I'm like, well, my sister made him, but I have a business. If you would like, you can come check my business out or something like that. And we'd go from there, and he would talk about like my babies and what I make and how and whatsoever and how I make them, and I go from there. And that's one thing I'm really excited for in my business, guys, is yes, I'm still going to be doing videos. I'm not fully gone yet, and I will never leave YouTube. I will never leave my PlayStation. I'll never get rid of it. But my life right now, my heart is going to always be reborns. I'm a reborn mom myself. Another backstory is I can no longer have children anymore, guys. I have polycystic ovary syndrome, and what's the bad thing about it is I was the one who actually found this out myself. I went to the doctor a couple days after, and I says, my cycles are out of whack. I have all these symptoms of PCOS. I have a very lazy thyroid because of the stress that I've gone through with Dad, and I think I might have polycystic ovary syndrome. And so she looks and she says, yeah, you have all the symptoms. And I says, so that means I'm never going to have children. And I was not yet 30 when I found this out. And I've always wanted to have another baby because that's every woman's right as a woman to have another child. And I'm sorry to say this is a child in a way does help a marriage. Any child will help a marriage whatsoever. And when I was told that I couldn't have any more, it really, really made me feel like Tim's going to leave. Because if a woman can't give the husband what the husband wants, he's going to just walk out. And that's the thing is, that's what I'm still afraid of, is I can't give him another son, or I can't give him another daughter, because I'm a woman. I'm supposed to give him what he desires, what he deserves. And it sounds really, really childish, but in a way it's the way it's how I see it, guys. It's like you want to try to better yourself and make yourself happy, but you really just can't, because you're not happy yourself. So when I told the doctor, she says, we can always put you on the pill, and I'm thinking like, no, I'm not allowed to. I'm Roman Catholic, and Catholics can't be whatsoever. I've got shunned so badly, guys, by my own church because of the decisions that I was forced to do in the States. Because one, I didn't know I was Roman Catholic when I went to the States, and two, when I did find out I was Roman Catholic, I was in this big dog doo-doo because I was on the pill when I was in the States. And if you guys don't know this, but Roman Catholics are not supposed to be on any birth control whatsoever. We're supposed to put it in God's hands. And if God wants you to have a child, he'll give you that child. If God wants to take you that child away once it's born, he'll take it away. And if God wants to give you that child a second chance when it's born, he will give that child a second chance. And I can't believe I'm about to say this, because I'll never give up on God. I'm very, yes, I may cuss, and I may swear a lot, and I may say things that aren't true, and I may put the Lord in vain once in a blue moon. But it wasn't God's fault that Daddy died. It was just Dad's time to go, and now after Daddy's gone, I have to say a little thing to Jesus himself, is you did your best, you kept him safe, and now he's back with you. Thank you. And another thing I want to say to him is, thank you for giving my son Daniel another chance in life. And that's another story for another day. But my little boy, he was born, how many months early was he born? How many months early was Daniel born, Tim? Daniel was born 3 months early. Eileen was born 3.5. But no, it's, when you're doing stuff like this, you always got to put the initiative as, you got to keep trying and never give up. And when you really are about to give up, you need to think before you do it. And that's what a lot of my friends do keep telling me, is I need to keep trying. So that's what I keep doing. So what I do in my life is I basically challenge myself to something different every day. If I want to make something special in, I haven't played Second Life in years, in Second Life, because, I haven't been on that very much. And if I wanted to start putting money back into there, I will. If I really wanted to waste $150 a month just on Second Life alone, just to make me happy again, oh yeah, I will. But then I go on there and I have nobody. Like, I used to have so many friends on there, and nobody messages me anymore. So it's sad, because it's like, you go be with this person, and he makes you happy, and he still makes you happy, and then you come home from the States, and then you lost all your friends. Not because of him, but because of your decisions. So my little motto is, try new things every day. Try to make yourself better. Try to start things out a little bit different. And if you have problems, if you have issues, then just pick yourself back up where you were and keep going, and don't look back. And if you have a disability, if you have things that really, really bother you and really, really make you depressed, that's fine. You're who you are. God puts you on this earth for a reason. And I don't care whoever tells you different. I don't care if your father or mother says, okay, you're dumb, you're stupid, you're nobody, and go to hell, basically. No. You're basically who you are and who you're going to be. So there's my little quotation for today. So there is 3 bedrooms down here. This is the family room, and this is the washer and dryer. So that is my setup for my basement. But no, it's that's why I'm becoming a reborn artist. That's why I'm doing what I gotta do every day. That's why I'm waking up every morning and think, okay, I really want to sleep in, but Nathan's going to be home in a couple weeks and nothing's ready for him. Nothing's washed. I got to do this. 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 And all of a sudden my back goes out. All of a sudden I'm about to get out of bed and I fall right on my face. And then you're thinking like, okay, then I guess I'm just gonna crawl back to bed and go back to sleep. That would be the old person, guys. And I'd basically roll back to bed and just go back to sleep for 6-7 hours when I really don't need the extra sleep. And all what you're really doing is you're hurting yourself when you do that. So it's like, nope, I'm gonna get up and I'm going to try again. And even if it takes you a couple of hours, sometimes it's good to just try when you don't try at all. And it's really nice when you think about, oh my goodness, I did this today. Or, oh my goodness, I actually helped someone today. Or, oh wow, this today was just amazing because, well, I played with my friends and I enjoyed myself, and oh, I can't wait for tomorrow. I'm really excited for tomorrow. And then you get up the next morning and you look at your phone and then you have some other really awesome things to look forward to. So it's really, really nice then when you actually have all that feeling. And it's all because you need to try something different. And if you're not trying something different, you're not bettering your life. And you always need to go out your comfort zone. Every day of your life until you go to heaven is you have one chance of trying out something different before God calls you home. And if you go to the gates and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I forgot to kiss Willie Johnson down the street when I was in high school. Maybe I should have just did it and fell in love and had a couple kids and just went out of my comfort zone and actually asked for his number, or I took him to the prom, or oh, I didn't take Lucy Sue or something stupid like that. That's something that it's not God's fault and it's not anybody's fault, and it's your fault because it's something that you've never did, and it's something that you should have done when you were younger. You should just tried your hardest to overcome your obstacles in life. If there's somewhere you want to go and there's something you want to do, you're going to have to learn to do it. And it's really, really sad for me to say this, and I'm really am meeting this bottom of my heart, guys, is if there's somewhere that you actually want to go, but you can't afford it, I want you guys to try. I want you guys to literally say, oh my goodness, well, I'm going to try today. I'm going to try to hop on that plane and I'm just going to go somewhere. Like, yes, I may not be able to afford it, and I may have to like lie about my age, or I may have to like find a way of getting a passport, even if I was born at home or something stupid like that. Then yes, I'm going to try today. I'm going to try to get to where I want to go so I can try out something different. And then when I get there, I'll figure out how I'm getting home. But when I get home, am I going to be happy with my decision of coming back home? So that's another decision, is you guys always got to think about your decisions before you do anything. Because if you're doing the wrong decision and you're with somebody, the wrong person, you're making yourself miserable. And that's not the best thing either. So my little quotation for you guys all is, try something different every day. Try to make yourself happy. And if you can't make yourself happy, then you need to figure out why you can't make yourself happy. And maybe you need to get a PlayStation and just game out all day and talk to your friends and be stupid and be goofy and just be really, really, really badly sick-minded, just so you guys can just get along and do things together. And sometimes that's all what you really need in a friendship is true friends will never, ever judge you. If you say something so sexually bad, they're just going to laugh. They're going to be like, oh my God, you're so sick-minded today. And that's basically how I'm going to say it, guys, is if you have the hots for somebody, you need to basically try to figure out how to get to where you got to go to show them that you love them. So, yeah. Like, for initiative is, I found out who my oldest daughter's birth father was. I first said it was Emmanuel's, and then we did DNA testing, and it's not really his. And it sounds really horrible for me to say this, guys, but he's the father of my 2 kids that I'm with now. And I don't talk too much about my past because I get very badly judged for my actions that I did way back when. And, I really don't care. I'm who I am, and if you don't like me, then fuck you, and I'm out of here. Basically, there's the attitude I have. But no, it's really, 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 really horrible when I have to say something like that. It's because I don't mean being mean, I don't mean being rude, I don't mean anything about it. It's just, I don't let anybody tell me what I can't and can't do in my life. So, a moral of the story, guys, is try something different. If there's something you really want to do and you can't do it, wake up that morning and say, okay, I'm a little tired, but I'm going to try to hand wash some baby clothes for 10-20 minutes. I can't really walk down to the basement to the washing machine because it's too much walking for my back because I would fall. And I have no money for change anyways, but these clothes have to be washed. Well, something that I have learned in the States, guys, is yes, try to stay active. I've gained so much weight coming back home because all I did was sit. And now I'm trying to turn myself around and trying to minimize the soda and trying to drink a little bit more juice, healthy juice, not crappy, full of sugar kind of stuff juice. Or try to think about what I can do to make yourself more happy and more lively again, and put myself back to where I was before I had my kids and before I was everything else. And it's like, how can I be happy and how can I do something is when I can't do what my life desires. You go to school and you get your education, you get your nursing diploma, and you get your nursing degree, and then all of a sudden, a year or 2 or 3 years down the road after you have it, you can barely move because the damage of your back that you had with the accident you had in the States. It's not Mary's fault. It's nobody's fault. It just happened. And it was what God wanted planned for me. And that's what really sucks. Was now I have to live maybe never able to ever work, really have a real job. But I'm never going to allow having anything bring me down. And I'm going to say this why is I have my health. I'm who I am now because of it. I'm happy still. I'm not miserable. And I actually finally figured out I love doing stuff with my hands. I love staying busy. And what I really wanted to do in my life was to help. And I wanted to be an NICU nurse. Okay, I'll call you in a couple minutes. I wanted to be an NICU nurse, and I wanted to bring children into the world and give their moms and dads love and joy in their heart that I had with my first 2 kids. I wanted them to experience, yes, your baby might not make it tomorrow, but at least we tried as nurses. I want to give a family a second chance to have a child if they can't have any more because of that difficulty of the delivering of their child because they're too scared to have another one. I want to give them another chance of saying, wow, she really, really did try, but this really makes me happy is that she did try. And that's what I want guys. And that's what I'm going to be doing, is I'm becoming a reborn artist because that's what I want to do in my life. I want to be able to sit down in a chair for 6 to 7 hours and, well, no, not even that long, probably like 2 or 3 at the most, and just sit there and listen to music and paint, and then throw it into the Neurowave oven, and then paint again, and keep painting and keep painting and keep painting until a week or 2 weeks down the road you're giving that baby a last kiss, saying goodbye, because it's going to a better home to his mom and dad. And it's something I want to do in my life, because I am so excited for my reborn to come home, because it's very emotional, is when you sit down and you pick your sculpt out, and you're thinking like, oh my god, that's my baby. But when you take 6 or 7 days, or you keep changing your mind because you don't know which sculpt you want, because you're trying to basically bond with something that's not yet done, and you're trying to get into your mind. Is that kind of reminds me of my baby I lost a couple years ago. And guys, I've had stillbirths, I've had miscarriages. A lot of people don't know this. Tim's family doesn't know a lot of it, because Tim and I just kept it to ourselves. We didn't even tell much of Tim's family that, hey, we lost a baby today and we're gonna bury it. You know, a lot of people don't know about any of us, because yes, it is the part of their family or whatever, they're related to that kid, but still, Tim and I never wanted to say anything. And we never did. Like, we've never ever told anybody whatsoever what happened when we lost children. Is we always kept it to ourselves. And when I actually first told Tim's mom that I was about to get a reborn, and it was because it's going to help me, she was supportive. When I told her I was going to open a business, she was supportive. So in a way, guys, if you guys don't see many videos, if it's 2 or 3 weeks down the road, I have not ever forgot about you guys. I love you guys dearly. You guys are amazing people. And I'm going to stay here. I'm going to still try to do as much videos as possible. But I'm busy. I'm running a guild. I'm trying to figure out things that I got to do for this guild. And I also got to now worry about my business that I'm actually doing. And I don't know if a couple weeks down the road I'm going to be like, yeah, this isn't the right for me or whatever, and I'm going to just say, okay, I'm done. You know, I have been not wanting to really ever give up on anything. If you guys don't know, this is about when my dad was alive. He used to always tell me is, you know, keep trying, keep going, keep mustering through it. You're going to be fine. Come on, Joan, you can do this. And then I'm thinking to myself, no, I can't do this. I'm scared, Dad, or something stupid like that. It's really hard in anyone's thoughtfulness is you wish your father was still here, because he would be helping you. He would be helping you figure out what you needed done. And that's what really, really sucked, is it's like he's not here anymore cheering me on, but sometimes when I just sit here for when I really need it, when I really needed him the most, I always used to feel him smacking me in the head, or I would hear him say, Joan, you can do this, or it's just something that I've never gotten rid of. It's just, he's still here. And Bun, I always will love you. And this is just temporary with Tim until I find my own place. Alright, hit that like, subscribe button down below, everyone, and yeah, it's and I'm talking about Xavier, guys. If you guys don't know who he is, don't worry about it, but that's just my little quotation for the day, is try something different, try out something better, try to make yourself more happier, and if you can't, then fine, you tried your best. If you can, then okay, you tried what you could do, and maybe you might be able to try yourself something different later, or maybe you're not going to ever try anything else because you're trying to figure out your own life. But anyways, bye for now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm about to go call my brother Kenneth and about to just bro out with him while he watches his WWE. Bye for now, guys.